How we doing, everybody? We are here to talk about Avengers Endgame, and it definitely is that. So let's talk about this. Let me start by saying this is going to be spoiler-free as far as story is concerned. So I'm not going to talk about any story elements that are going to give anything away, and but we are going to talk about certain elements of the film itself. So again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I will talk about little snippets of stuff that doesn't give much away. So let me just start by saying also that as far as because people are going to ask, well, did you like Infinity War? Absolutely. I thought Infinity War was great. I thought that the writing on Infinity War was phenomenal. They had so many characters to put everything in, and everybody, I'm sure all those big actors wanted equal screen time, and the writing on it was amazing, and of course the directing. And how that movie ended was phenomenal. It really made you want to see what happened next. And this is what happened next. Was Endgame. And yes, I say it that way because I know I'm in the complete minority. Because I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now, and everybody's got 96 for reviews for critics and 92 for audience score. So everybody absolutely loved this movie, except me. I did not care for this movie pretty much at all. I was so psyched for this film. Obviously, from seeing my other reviews, and if you know me, you know that I'm a huge superhero fan. It's almost like can do no wrong kind of thing, except for Shazam. And but here we are. I was so hyped. In fact, I was with everybody hooting and hollering when the Marvel thing came up. We were so excited. And then even the first scene, the first 10 minutes of the film, I was still engaged. I thought I'm like, this is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And like, after the first 10 minutes, like, oh my God, where are they going to go from here? And that's where it all crashed for me. So I don't know if they wrote themselves into a corner and didn't know how to get themselves out. But, when you do this kind of stuff, you would think that they would know what they would be doing. But if once you watch the film and you see the plot and you see how it ends and everything in between, you're just like, what? So everybody knows the story. If you haven't seen Infinity War, then not Endgame, but Infinity War, then you shouldn't be watching anything that has to do with Avengers. You're also like a couple of years behind. But as you know, Thanos did the famous snap or infamous snap, and half of the population everywhere was destroyed. So half of the Avengers, so there's only a few Avengers left, and during a period of the film, 5 years pass, and we see where the heroes are and things to that effect. And of course, as you know, right from the get-go, even from the trailer, and we'll show a little clip of the trailer.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I like this one.
But even from the trailer, that they're trying to bring everybody back. So I'm not going to say how or what or when or anything like that. But that's the general plot. So after the first 10 minutes, then it goes into a character moment. And I'm like, okay. Then another character moment. Okay. Then another character moment. And another character moment. And another character moment. And before long, I was like, okay, when are we going to get this movie going? I was literally bored. So the film is 3 hours long, okay, and for close to 2 hours of the film, I was bored. Now for Infinity War, I was never bored. I mean, that movie went. I mean, it was just went and went and went and went. This was like, okay, when is this thing going to get moving? It was very, very long and drawn out, and I didn't even care at some of the things. So I don't know what the difference between the two films were, but for me it was a huge difference. I know it had the Russo brothers was directing, but it was almost like they wanted to throw in as many throwbacks from the other films as possible. And it was like, where can we throw this in? Oh, wait, where can we throw this in? Oh, wait. And it felt like it was just a hodgepodge. I was really disappointed with the film. So, I mean, if I'm not telling you to go see it, because if you've invested all this time into it, it's definitely worth seeing. But just don't expect a great deal. Obviously, a lot of people love it. Again, I may be completely off kilter here, but for me personally, I just felt like it was, I don't know, like in the movie. So as you know, they go 5 years ahead, and they make this comment that there's no Mets. There's no Mets team, and they even show like the stadium empty and stuff like that. Human beings are very resilient, and I could see that happening after a year that they haven't picked up and gone and stuff like that. But after 5 years, anybody can pick up and resume life after 5 years. And you can't tell me that if, the half the team is gone, that they can't find another half a team, So I just didn't buy it. I think they just should have gone 1 year, and everything would have been a little bit more palatable. But and then when you see the ending, like I was bored through the first the 2 hours, but then the last hour it was kind of like Rogue One. So where Rogue One kind of dragged, and then the last 40 minutes was like amazing. This is great, and I felt the same way with this, where I had to get through 2 hours to get to this big battle scene at the end. That was great. However, the battle scene itself made no sense. And when you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about how this thing even happened. So I was like, hey? So anyway, when you see it, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so this... for me, it was a mess. And of course, they had to delve into the all-female thing again. And I don't know why they just keep throwing that in our face. There's no reason for it. So at one point, and I'm all for all female teams. In fact, most of the time I collect comics that are all female themed. Like A-Force, the Domino's got a new thing called Hot Shots and so like that's all female. I like those kind of comics, but they're there for a reason. Where the team itself got together for a reason. Here, there's in the middle of the battle scene. They're like, "No, you're not alone. You have all of your sisters." And all these, and suddenly, in the middle of the battle, all these women are suddenly grouped together. There's no men anywhere else except now these. But they were all together before, like 2 seconds before. But now suddenly all the women are together, and they had to make a big deal out of it. It's almost like the Russo brothers were like, well, Disney kind of wants us in there, so we'll figure out a way to throw it in there. And yes, there's no reason. There was no reason for it. It just felt like completely out of place. So anyway, as far as the rest of the film is concerned, I thought that how they tied up the characters was all good. What I liked about it was the characters themselves. And I think a lot of people are going to feel very let down with how they handled Thor. Thor particularly. They made a big joke about him, and the joke was funny for the first 5 minutes. But the joke continues through the whole film. And it was like, okay, it's tired. Can we just move on? Can we just have Thor back? And we just really never do. So again, when you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, so then also, now I know that Carol Danvers in the comics, she had short hair at one time. I don't think she even does now anymore, but she had, it was kind of shaved on the side and stuff like that. Well, you kind of saw the mohawk, which is kind of what they did with the helmet on in Captain Marvel. But here they cut her hair, and she in the comics you can draw it, so it looks cool. But there are certain things that don't translate, and Brie Larson with this short hair, she looked like a boy. So I thought that was a mistake, because maybe it was, let's cut it, and we'll see what it looks like, instead of just pinning it back and seeing it look like. Anyway, it was a mistake, I thought. What I did like is Steve Rogers had no beard. Scarlett Johansson got her red hair back. Love it. Because I really disliked the blonde hair. But yeah, so it was very, very hit or miss for me. And when you see it, then I don't know if I'll do a spoiler review or not, but I really kind of want to delve into the plot problems with it, and where I was just like, what? But anyway, so you're gonna have to check it out anyway, because it's Avengers, and I can tell you this: don't stay for the end credits, because there are no more scenes. There are no end scenes. Everybody in the theater waited for the end credits scenes, and there was none. So you don't need to wait for those. Anyway, that's my review, and I actually, to tell you the truth, I like Captain Marvel better than I liked Endgame. Scary as that might sound. If I say like Infinity War for me was like a 9. It was great. This for me was average, 7. I don't know if I'll even watch it again. If I do, I'll just fast forward to the end. So anyway, that's my review of Avengers Endgame, and I'm sure I'll get some comments here about everybody else that loved it and why. And feel free to do that, of course. And feel free to share this with your friends, family, and otherwise. Look what this guy's saying about Endgame. Anyway, have a good one, and happy Saturday.